Hello Stampers, this is Super Awesome Stamper Shirley Merker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wisconsin, USA. In this video, I will show you how to create this hand stamped greeting card. It's part of my bundle bonus program where if you purchase a bundle of designated products, you get an emailed PDF idea file with project photos and YouTube video links so you have ideas to use your bundle products. I use the Hive 3 embossing folder on the Mary Merlot cardstock. You can see the deeply etched image it gives when you run it through your Stampin' Cut emboss machine. So this is the plain side. This is the side that was run through the machine. And the bundle bonus for March 2022 are the 2 bundles from the Heart and Home Suite. So you've got 2 options to make a purchase and get that PDF idea file from me. All right, so this is the inside piece, and I'm using stamps from the Honeybee Home stamp set. So we're going to stamp that one in the upper corner. And then on the outside, got my little project file here, my supply pieces. On the outside, we are going to stamp one of the bumblebees. And these are bumblebees. They are not honeybees. Honeybees have a body that's more narrow, and bumblebees have a wider body. So there's that one. And then, I think I'm done with that. That was the soft suede ink pad. Bring in the Mary Merlot ink pad. And I'm going to stamp Best of Luck just in the center there. And grab my punch, my jar punch, and I had that about center. Oh, I have that up a little bit far. So if that happens for you, just cut a little bit off. There. I want it down a little more so I've got room to put my fun honeybee and my paper band there. Okay, so I stamp first and punch second so you get your sentiment or whatever you want inside your punch to be perfectly positioned. All right, now I grabbed a sponge dauber. Now I picked this color combo because I wanted something to offset the cinnamon cider, but when I went to my scrap bin to find some scraps for matting, I determined I did not have any Mary Merlot scraps. So a way to add an instant matte is to grab your sponge daubers and just ink some ink all the way around there. Gives a faux matte look. All right, next up will be to die cut a few things. So grab this die. It's the long thin die from the die set, the Honeybee Blooms die set. Here are the rest of the dies. We're going to die cut that on Papaya cardstock. Then grab this die, place it over there, and run those through your Stampin' Cut emboss machine. And through the magic of television, I've already got those done. So there's what that one looks like. Looks more like a weed to me. And then I'm going to show you, I did 2 of these. I initially started designing with the basic white, and I just didn't like that against the cinnamon cider pattern paper. And then I realized it's so stark looking, I'd rather use the Very Vanilla. So Very Vanilla was the neutral that I used in this card. So before we move to the next step, which is assembly, we're gonna do some coloring though. Grab your watercolor pencils. I'm using from the watercolor pencil assortment number 2. You get all these colors in your packet, and I'm going to add a little bit of shading. So I grabbed the Calypso Coral just lightly over that top wing, and then come in with your Daffodil Delight, and that adds a little bit of contrast. Daffodil Delight over the whole body. I'm not going to worry about the wings. And then also color this one as well. Now this Daffodil Light I've obviously used quite a bit. I need to sharpen it. Any pencil sharpener will do. And I actually have the Stampin' Up! One from years ago. Still works. All right. That's the inside. Okay, so I am fond of using my pieces as I make them. And by using, I mean assembling them, placing them on my card base. One less thing on my workstation to figure out where it goes. All right, so that goes in the center and the inside. All right, our next card base or layer is this cinnamon cider piece. And it runs the height of my card base. So whether you're in metric or imperial, you just run it to the height of your card base. And it measures 3.5 inches by 5.5 inches for my card. I'm using an A2 card base, and I will use the green glue to adhere this down because the green glue will sink into all those comb crevices. And I will add all the measurements below. All right, next, so this is the pattern paper from Honeybee Home, or from the Heart and Home suite, and I'm using the Bumblebee pattern. So I like to use my pattern paper as efficiently as possible, and it is 12 by 12 inches. So if you cut it to 3 inches, you can get 8 cards from one piece of pattern paper and generating no scraps. Well, there'll be very little scraps. You'll see this is what is cut off from the top. So this measured 3 by 6 inches, and then I just cut off 1/2 inch. That's what was left of that, but we're going to use this little strip for the belly band. You know, when you go to farmers markets, you get a fun piece of, which pattern do I want there? That one. I want the big daisy right there. You get sometimes the vendors wrap fabric around their canned goods, and that's what that was the look I was going for here. And you can, so I wanted to showcase that flower right there. That's why I was taking a little time to position that. And that's what's left. That's the scrap for this one. And you can certainly set it aside and put it in your scrap bin and use it for another project. All right, since we used the punch to create that jar band, it fits perfectly. Just going to use a little bit of green glue to adhere that down, because the green glue will allow me to position it perfectly in place. All right, next up is a strip of the cinnamon cider. And all it is a strip, because I didn't want a huge mat behind it. I cut one of the Heart and Home doilies in half, and I wanted the cinnamon cider up. The other side is white, and that's just too stark for me. So you can use whatever kind of adhesive you'd like. I'll just do some green glue because I've got it right here. And then this piece was just actually a scrap. It measures 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Again, I'll put all of the dimensions below in the description box, including the metric equivalents. All right, next is going to be this weed-looking thing. I'm going to offset it on the jar because this is a huge honeybee. If we put it in the center, it doesn't offset the weight of that honeybee. So we're going to put it off to the side. And you can see it's kind of floating in the wind. If you don't like that, I'm going to just put some tape runner right there. If you don't like it floating in the wind, Grab your green glue and squeeze ever so gently. And that will be enough to adhere that down. All right, and I need to move it over a little bit because I'm going to put that bumblebee trinket right there. All right, now after I got all done, I felt it needed a little tiny bit of extra stuff. So I added one of these loose flower embellishments, which makes this really kind of thick for mailing. So I popped the jar up initially, but we're not going to pop it up. We're just going to put it flat against the paper. And center it on the cinnamon cider. Grabbing my glue dots, I will adhere this bumblebee that we colored. Just put a glue dot off to the left side, or actually you could put it wherever you want because it's flat against the paper. All right, and grab a bumblebee trinket and need to attach that with a glue dot as well. Up there. And then I'm going to take the smallest apple pie shape and put it over the center of the bumblebee. And this just adds a touch of whimsy. A flower would not be riding on the back of a bumblebee. But we can make our cards fun. They don't always have to be so realistic looking. And the flower on the back of the bumblebee adds a little bit of interest and draws your eye to the bumblebee. All right, so there is our card. And I'm going to pull in my mailing slot. This is just a 1/4 inch slot that I made. And we are going to, how I would mail this is I would flip this around and mail it like that. That makes it uniformly thick, makes it easier to mail. So once I get this in an envelope, it will fit through the slot. And this one's going to be a little tight. This one I might have to include in a package pickup. It would still fit in an envelope. It'll be tight, but I would certainly mail that one the flap around technique. All right, catalog tour real quick before you head out so you can see where the products are that I used to create my project. So in the January to June mini catalog for 2022, I used products from the Heart and Home Suite. I used the Honeybee Home Bundle. You can also purchase the Blessings of Home Bundle and still earn that bundle bonus PDF in your email inbox. I use the Heart and Home doilies right there, the cinnamon cider one. I use the Heart and Home Designer Series paper, that bumblebee pattern right there. And here are the 2 available bundles you can purchase to earn that PDF file from me. And then from the annual catalog, I use the Mary Merlot cardstock, the Cinnamon Cider cardstock, the Very Vanilla cardstock, and the watercolor pencils come in 2 assortments. I used assortment 2 right there for $12.50. And sponge daubers, number 6, are a good all stamping accessory to add to your stash. You can just rinse those out under the sink. They eventually all turn a pinkish, so you can see on the edge. I've used this before and just rinsed the previous ink color out. They all kind of turn a pinkish, but once you rinse them out, you can use them in different ink color pads. Here are the bumblebee trinkets on page 141, and then those loose flower flourishes. And the last thing in the annual catalog that I used would have been the jar punch right there. All right, so thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button before you head out. I hope you enjoyed this bundle bonus project. So if you purchased the Heart and Home, either Heart and Home suite of those bundles, you received an emailed PDF idea file with the sample photos and the links to the YouTube videos to create the samples. Hope you have a great day, and I'll stamp with you soon. Bye.